Like, I stood there and like tried to compose myself, and I called my mom and I was like, "Hey mom, I'm at practice, but pretty sure my rod just broke." She was like, I'll never forget her being like, "You're fine. You pulled a muscle. Titanium doesn't break." I was like, "Oh, okay, but I think this one's broken, but I'll take your word for it. We'll talk about it when I get home." So I'm pretty sure I finished the jerseys. I might not have. I might have just left. I honestly don't remember. And I think it was like 2 weeks. It might not have been that long that I fought with my parents over the fact that my rod was broken. I do remember it was like over Christmas break. And I could like move my shoulders, and if I like tightened the muscles in my back, I could hear the ends of this rod rubbing together. And I was in a lot of pain. More pain than I normally was in. And so I got mad, and I mean, I still kind of have an attitude, but I really had an attitude when I was this age. I was 15, and I was like angry at the world, and I got mad, and I was like, "Listen, I'm not going to be happy until I'll leave my doctor's name out of this, until Dr. So-and-so shows me an x-ray and says I'm fine." And you know how moms are? She like picked up her phone off the table and called the doctor's office. And they were like, "Dr. So-and-so is on vacation. She's fine. She pulled a muscle. But if what she needs is like to see some x-rays, take her to the hospital and like let her get some x-rays if that's what she wants." So my mom grabbed her keys and just, "Get in the car. We're going to the hospital." And we sat there for so long. And I remember the nurse coming in and being like, my mom was like, "Can we go now?" And the nurse was like, "We can't let her leave." And my mom was like, "Why? Like, what else do you have to do?" She was like, "Well, I remember she called it a wire. She's like, her wire is broken." And the blood just like drained from my mom's face. And she called my dad. And I told you so moments. And this was the best one by far. Being able to be like, "I told you so. I knew. You guys should have listened to me. I knew something was broken." And so, we saw the x-rays, and you could see where like there was a gap in the wire. And so I had to go and wear like this stupid brace, and everything hurt. And I remember going to my doctor's office, and he like came in and both my parents were there, and he wanted to shake my hand, and I just like looked at him. I was like, I'm not shaking your hand. You lied. You said you bet your life that you wouldn't see me on the operating table again, and here we are. You're telling me I have to have surgery to have this stupid rod replaced." And at this point, I was scared that like, since one of my rods had already broken and they told me it wasn't going to, I was scared my second rod was going to break. And he was like, "No, it's not going to break. I remember him saying the second rod will do its job. It will make sure like everything is good, and it'll be a simple surgery. We'll go in, replace that rod, no big deal." And so my dad took me to the hospital to get my pre-op testing done. Like, I don't know, early January. It was like January, hold on, I can do the math. Gee, I want to say it was like January 12th. It was right around my mom's birthday. And he took me to the hospital to get my pre-op testing done. And he was holding my hand afterwards. And it was like a huge deal because I always pass out getting blood work done. And this was the first time I had gotten my blood taken, and I didn't faint. And I remember we were going to go to Subway, and we were going to go to Kohl's afterwards because we had to return some things. And, he was holding my hand, like keeping me steady going through this parking garage on the way back to his truck. And my dad always explained it like somebody had a gun next to his head and just pulled the trigger. Because it was so loud, and in the parking garage it echoed, and I collapsed because my second rod broke. And this is like the thing that I think truly like changed the words are hard, the trajectory of my life the most. So when my second rod broke, it completely pulled apart my spinal column. We'll just say it did a lot of damage, and I couldn't move my legs at all. I could not walk, I could not stand, I couldn't do anything. And so my dad picked me up and carried me to his truck. And pro tip, if you go to the emergency room and you go in like screaming in pain, they get you in really fast. Just food for thought. So yeah, he took me in his truck around to the ER, and they came out with like, I think they had me in a wheelchair, and I just remember going to into the doors screaming. And I was in that, after that, like obviously they couldn't let me go. I was paralyzed from the waist down. I had no movement. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I remember feeling like I had to pee, and they tried to like slide a bedpan under me, and like my spine is broken, a bedpan hurts, but like I couldn't even go to the bathroom because there was just nothing. I could not control anything. And so after that I was in the hospital for, I want to say like 5 days before surgery, because my doctor at the time wanted to make sure he had like his team put together to make sure like out of all my surgeries, he wanted to make sure that the third one was like, done properly. And it sucked. I remember being like in the peds unit, and like I know the peds nurses are great, and I was 15, and maybe they're not used to dealing with somebody my age, or with like this very specific issues they showed up there with. But I'll never forget, it was the middle of the night, and I needed to like roll over, but I could not roll myself over. My mom was sleeping like on a bed next to me, and this nurse came in and like grabbed the sheet and just like flipped me to the side, and I screamed, and my mom woke up, and she went off on this nurse, and I'm pretty sure the same night or the next day I was moved to the ortho unit where they're used to dealing with, back issues. So after 5 days in the hospital, I had my surgery, and this one was only, I want to say it was like 9 hours, 7 hours. I don't know. The first one was 8. The second one was 11. This one, I want to say it was like 7 hours. And they went in, and I have a scar on the side of my tummy where they went in and they cut all of my muscles to my back to make sure that it is secure on the front and on the back. So ideally, doesn't break again. That'd be cool. And at this is my last surgery at this point, and it left me with 2 rods, that weird cage thing I talked about, and 28 screws. So that's what I walk around with in my body every day. I started a new job, and the other day, this girl walked in, and she was like, "You have really good posture." I was like, "Thanks. I call it titanium rods. No big deal." But I was 15, so I had surgery when I was 13, March of 2008. When I was 14, January of 2009. No, I'm sorry, February of 2009. And then on January 19th of 2010, I was 15 and had my 3rd surgery. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I think it changed our family dynamic a lot, because there was a lot that had to happen, I feel like, to get through my surgeries and my mom being sick, and life sucked, to be totally upfront and honest. But there's my little rundown of what I've had to deal with over the last 13 years. And that's kind of why I'm doing this now. Like, I'm 26. I've been dealing with this officially for like half my life. And that was like a rude awakening. And so I don't know. I'm in pain constantly. And the only way I think I can deal with that is if I try to make something good out of it. And I hope this is it. I hope people enjoy these videos, or at least find them like somewhat insightful or educational. I don't know. Or maybe nobody will watch them. That'll be weird and unfortunate, but I don't know. I didn't think about that. Oops. So yeah. There's my life. I think I'm going to end this video here. Maybe I'll make another one talking about what I do now to, cope with the pain of everything else, or the pain of all those surgeries. And I want to make a video talking about what it was like when my mom was sick, because I think that was one of the worst times in our lives. It turned out okay, but it was hard, but we made it, so that's cool. That's good. I'm glad. But I'm rambling, so I'm going to end this video here. If you have any video ideas or things you want to see, let me know. I'll gladly make them. I have pictures from like post-surgery, and I think I have some x-ray pictures that I'll try to figure out how to include in this video. But that's it for now. Please be kind to me in life. Don't leave me mean comments. If you don't like it, that's fine, but just don't watch. That's cool. I'm fragile. Please be kind. Yeah, be kind to me, be kind to each other, be kind to yourself. I'll see you next time. If there is a next time, who knows? We'll see how this one goes. Bye, guys.